It's time to catch up with Dubbo Regional Mayor Mathew Dickerson. How you going?
Good, thanks, Noni. How are you going out there?
Yeah, not too bad at the moment. And there is a lot happening in the Dubbo region at the moment. There was a number of committee meetings recently, but the biggest thing at the moment, of course, is the passing of Her Majesty the Queen, and she did visit Dubbo in the past. Can you tell us a little bit about when she was there and what those visits meant to the community?
Yeah, sure. And it is a sad time, the Queen's passing. I think she was a fantastic international figure, a very stoic and very well-respected figure around the world. Dubbo was lucky enough to have 2 visits from the Queen, and I don't know there'd be a lot of other regional areas where we saw 2 visits from the Queen she was there for a long time, obviously, but getting out to places like Dubbo, that was fantastic. So the first visit was in 1954. It was a whirlwind visit. She flew in about 3:30 in the afternoon and flew out about 5 o'clock. In that time, she went to the show, the Dubbo show, and opened the Dubbo show, officially opened that. So that's pretty nice for their history that they've actually had the Queen officially open the show. Now, the date of the Dubbo show is not normally in February, so they moved the date of the Dubbo show to suit the Queen's visit in 1954 when she was here for that time frame. She watched a bit of wood chopping, watched some of the shearing contests, and then had a civic ceremony there where the Mayor of the day would have been Les Ford. She came back then in 92, not sure how much she remembered from her previous visit in 54, but in 92 she spent a lot longer here, spent the full day here, and the zoo had opened about 15 years before that, so she did actually take a tour around the zoo, and you can imagine the publicity that would have generated for the zoo, where you've got all the media contingent going along with the Queen, and going to this wonderful open range zoo would have been fantastic for the exposure of the zoo. Another civic reception, Tony McGrain would have been the mayor at that stage. Jerry Peacock, I have heard Jerry Peacock, who has now passed away, he was a state member, so I've heard him talk about that particular visit from the Queen in 92. So that's probably one that sticks in people's minds a little bit more, but great to see the Queen out here, and obviously she made it to Bourke. In 2000, I think she was out there in Bourke, and I have heard the story from Paul Loxley when he was the principal of the Bourke Public School, the visit that happened there in Bourke. So she's obviously touched the region in many ways.
Definitely. And she still is, even though she's no longer with us. There is a public holiday that's been announced for her funeral, and it's causing a little bit of strife. Tell us about what's happening.
I would never want to say, Noni, that the Queen's death is causing any strife. Obviously, we all want to show our respect and just the great job that she did on the world stage. But the public holiday that Anthony Albanese has declared for the 22nd of September is a minor problem for us because our next council meeting date is the 22nd of September. Obviously, for that day of recognition, day of respect for the Queen, we won't hold that particular council meeting on the 22nd of September, but council meetings, the dates for those are set by council resolution. Now, you can't just go and change your mind on a council resolution. You can't just go, well, it'll be right, we'll just change it to a different day. The only way you can change a council resolution is by another council resolution. So with that date on the 22nd of September, we're going to have to hold an extraordinary meeting before that date to have a new council resolution to declare the date of that particular council meeting. Now, at this stage, I'm assuming that we'll probably go for the day before. We'll hold it on the 21st of September instead of the 22nd, but we still need to have a council resolution and formally resolve that new date. So it's a bit of a process to go through, and obviously with many other things, with the public holiday declared, they might just change the date, but we just can't do that because it is that council resolution. So keep your ear out for that. If you're keen on attending council meetings, that one will definitely have to change.
Now, the Wellington pedestrian bridge has been opened, and again, the Queen also made a bit of an impact on that. Tell us about the day that all that went down.
On Saturday morning, we had our community leaders breakfast, and these are great things. We have our federal member, our state member, and myself and councillors gather around, and this doesn't happen anywhere else in Australia, where you have all 3 levels of government in an open forum on a regular basis. So it is something that is unique, and people do really support it. So we had a lot of people come along to that, but then more people turned up at the end of that where we were doing the bridge opening. So at the end of the leaders' breakfast, we said we'll officially open the new Wellington pedestrian bridge. And this has been talked about in the community for some time. The old pedestrian bridge was shut down because it was unsafe. About 5 years ago that happened. So people have been keen to see the new bridge. And so we've got that finished, ready to open it. And one of our staff, Ian McAllister, decided it'd be a good idea to put a coin in the concrete footings to show the year that the bridge was constructed. So, of course, he took a dollar coin, year 2022 stamped on it with the Queen's face that's on the coin, embedded that into the concrete. That happened months ago. It was just to mark the year of construction of the bridge. No idea what was to happen the day before the opening. So, of course, on Friday morning, we heard the sad news that the Queen had died. The next morning, we talked about the fact this coin was embedded in the bridge. Lots of people were very keen to see that coin and have their photo taken with that coin. I actually think that coin in itself will become somewhat of a tourist attraction because of the significance of the date when the Queen did pass away and when we opened that bridge. So well done to one of our staff. Didn't know it would be so significant, but I like the idea anyway that he had the coin buried in the concrete there to show it. You can still see it. It's kind of embedded in the concrete to show the actual year of construction of that bridge.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a fantastic piece of infrastructure, and to know that it's got that piece of history attached to it is also fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, finally, fluoride in Dubbo's water, it's been a bit of an issue over the last little while, but things are looking on track to get it back in there.
Yeah, almost on track, I think. And it has been an issue, not so much fluoride in Dubbo water, but lack of fluoride in Dubbo water. January 2019 was the last time Dubbo residents drank water from their taps with fluoride in there. For whatever reason, I don't really know why, the last council chose not to tell the community there was no fluoride in the water. We didn't discover that until earlier this year, that there was no fluoride in the water. We told the community, but more importantly, we told the community that we would fix the problem. And we said to the community, there's a bit of a process to go through, but we said by June next year, we should have that problem fixed. Where we're at the moment is we were presented 3 options by Department of Public Works in terms of the way we'd fix that problem. Option 1 was just to repair the existing infrastructure. And that wasn't great because there are a few conceptual problems with that in terms of the way that's actually structured. Option 2 was to use the same methodology that's used now with a liquid acid and construct a new fluoride dosing system at another part of the facility. And option 3 was to go forward with a completely new concept, which is a granular method of dosing rather than a liquid method of dosing. And in the end, councillors discussed those options and decided that option 3 was the best way, using a granular concept rather than a liquid concept, and that made it safer for handling, safer for storage, and the cost of the operation and the cost of construction was approximately the same. So we will now instruct the Department of Public Works to go out, create the detailed designs, go out and create tender documents, invite tenders to come in, and then get that done. Now, we did talk about that at the committee meetings last week, that would we still meet the June 23 deadline that we actually had said to the community that was our target? The CEO said that he's still confident that we should be able to meet that. It will be touch and go. It'll be tight in terms of the timeframes and the timelines to get all that done, but we'll communicate with the community if we can't quite meet that deadline.
Well, there's definitely a lot happening in the Dubbo Regional Local Government area. Dubbo Regional Mayor Mathew Dickerson, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure, Noni. Great to be chatting to you.